This is your market update for Tuesday, June 2nd. All right, we're going to get started today with the S&P Cash Weekly chart. So I just want to remind you that, we did have 3 cycles within these last 2 weeks, but you have to remember, so that means we've got the weeks ending the 29th and then the week ending June 5th. And then you have to look at it plus or minus a week. So that's typically a 4-week time window. So it's not extremely helpful, except in the way that maybe, just maybe, we might get a more important high, like between now and next week. Again, just take it with a grain of salt. If you don't see any signals, if we don't see the 513 cross back to the downside, then we still have potential higher, okay? So S&P Cash Daily. The one thing I did want to show you here, because actually I did not include this, I think, in the timing, because if I ran this low to this high, and then you project from this low, today is 100%, because, we've got 8 days up and 8 days up. So again, we're extended. We have some time resistance, but we don't have any big old sell signals yet, okay? So what do? Ratchet up stops on long positions, okay? Anyway, next potential target, 76.30.5. As far as the S&P contract, the next target is the 1618 extension off of this last low, which comes in at 76.54. Let's call that 75. What else? 120-minute chart. Now, I didn't seem to have any errors on the data on the 120-minute chart here, which is still a bullish chart as far as the averages are concerned, the 834 I use on the lower time frame. But I can't believe eSignal, they were aware of this problem, and they said they're in the process of fixing it. How difficult is it to fix this bar? Just get rid of it. I don't understand. But anyway, just letting you know that that is bogus data. It wasn't on Thinkorswim or anything else. It was just there. So not too much you can do with it. I really haven't done much in the way of any major pullbacks here on the 120-minute chart. I know the girls will have or may have more information from going way back over to on the left-hand side of the chart. But bottom line, I do have some levels for you to watch if we do get this pullback. But being that we're in a place where we could terminate the move, first indication that we might get at least a deeper downside correction would be a break of this prior swing low here, which comes in at 75.76 1/4. All right. Anyway, I know that I'm having problems with the, I don't know what's going on with Camtasia. Ever since I went to the newer version, I'm having issues with the recordings here and there. I usually check them, and apparently I didn't see the last error, but I am working with tech support on those issues. All right, as far as NASDAQ, where are we there? NASDAQ has met 2 targets already on the upside. A third target would be 31,477. Oh yeah, and as far as, timing, again, I've got to take this with a grain of salt. I mean, I've got some dates 1st, 2nd, but then I also have the 4th. I thought there was one on the 5th also somewhere. Yeah, 4th, 5th. So again, is that really helpful? Because, I would just say ratchet up stops again at this point. And then as far as the NASDAQ, I also added a few more cycles there. And we have the histogram that gave us the 1st, 2nd, but then we also have like the second through the 5th, as far as other cycles to watch. So again, we already have reason to ratchet up stops. So please do so if you are currently long NASDAQ. And then as far as the June contract, yeah, so target 3 is 31,592. I don't know what else I can tell you. I mean, it's still a bullish chart. I'm still going to call myself cautious bull because it's still a pattern of higher highs and higher lows. It still has all the daily averages on the side of the bulls. But it has extended where moves tend to terminate. And also we do have some of the timing factors. As far as the 120-minute chart, I do have some of the pullbacks for you here. The girls may have more or different for you tomorrow, because if a new high is made, you have to realize that all of these levels have to be recalculated from the new high. All right, what else do we have? IWM. Okay, so IWM, this is like, I'd say, a perfect setup. Now, was it a perfect royal setup? No, but it was a perfect setup. It hit, it held, it triggered, it met target number 1. Now it's getting a pullback, so we have new levels to look at for support. So actually, I think I'll just make this easier to see. There we go. So first area is coming in at 283.31 to 284.90. Second area that stands out is 277.72 to 279.08. If we get there, those are two places that I would look for possible new entries. As far as the diamonds, getting close to a target off of a different swing, but we still have a 1272 target from this major swing that comes in above at 520.22. Again, just because I have a target doesn't guarantee that we're going to get there, but we always do shoot for those. And then we have a target from, again, like a smaller swing that comes in at 512.88. So again, we've extended these prior swings, so for that reason alone, you want to be trailing up stops on longs. Now, as far as Bitcoin, I did add some new levels. I had to, use some of these smaller swings. But these are some areas of support to look at. As far as timing, I don't have that much. I have the first, I have one date on the 4th and one date on the 5th. Yeah, so I don't have a bunch of cycles. But here's the thing. The 513's in a sell mode. Okay, notice it crossed to the upside here, crossed back to the downside here. 701.33 to 704.69 is a support decision, but the averages are not on the right side. So again, these are not official setups because there's only 2 levels, but I'm going to give them to you because if you want to trade against them, that's your choice. I just don't do any of this myself when the 513 is in a sell mode. So except like maybe for like a day trade or something like that, but can't keep anything overnight with the 513 on the wrong side for me. And then as far as, let's see, our other charts. So, that we got really close to another upside target in the case of Apple, but we didn't quite get there. But at least now that we're, pulling back, and we did have histogram timing here that came in the 29th through the 31st. So I hope you trailed up your stop. But here's the new levels. A little bit easier to see if I make this a little bit larger, but these are the areas I'd have you watch for possible new buy entries. But if you don't get a trigger, leave it alone because, we're pretty much extended from this last major swing. So I would not be surprised if we went through more of this support and got a deeper downside correction. So that's why I'm saying no trigger, no trading. Okay. And then let's see what we have. Amazon, what there? It was looking good, but it's not looking so awesome at the moment. We do have price still. Where the heck is the 200? My guess is that we're above the 200, but the 513, it doesn't look like it crossed yet to the downside, but it's very close to that occurring. So this would take that. Honestly, I would have been stopped out here, with this kind of movement here. But I do have a new decision. Now, when we get to that decision, or if we get to that decision, honestly, it probably will not be a royal setup, but I do have 4 levels. I have 2 symmetry projections and a 786 and a 1272. So 258.62 to 259.38 is a setup zone. Now, since we don't have the 513 on the right side, maybe some of you, if you wanted to look at a day trade decision against this, and then just don't take it overnight, that might be something to look at for you. Okay, but yeah, we couldn't get through the area of resistance that we wanted to get through. And then we've got Google. So Google has made a new low for the move here. We have similarity in the time of this these prior moves: 9 days down, 10 days down, 8 days down. Now we have 9 days down. and we have a pretty healthy cluster. Well, the bigger zone, 366.80 to 371.35. If you want to include this in there, you can, but you know, this is a nice cluster, but it will not be a royal setup. It will still be a setup. It will not be a royal setup, which is higher probability. But you do have levels to play with. As far as NVIDIA, I mean, I don't know what happened near the close yesterday, but you know, it had a failure, like right at the symmetry, and still ended up holding because there were buy triggers. You know, even though it wasn't royal at the time, but it looks like we might be getting the 5 back above the 13. And target number 1 in the case of NVIDIA is 244.09. Target 2 is 253.70 if we do continue to rally. Okay, obviously the next hurdle is the 618 retracement. Let's look at Tesla. All right, so we knew Tesla was having, well, had some timing, and it had price resistance in the way of this trend line. We were a little bit short of that trend line, but we are pulling back. I did not read the news to see, you know, what was the reason or excuse for this, but I got stopped out. And then basically what I'm going to do is watch and see, because all the averages are still on the side of the bulls, I think. Where's the two? God damn it. I don't have the 200 bars, so it's not showing the 200. But we're above the 50, and the 5 and 13 in the moment is still in a buy mode. So I'm going to see if it maybe gives any renewed buy signals against the 618. But if not, then we are, you know, vulnerable to the downside, right? And of course, you know, you can see that we did cross. We had the moving average crossover, the 834 EMA crossed back to the downside. So for me, I'd rather wait and see if maybe anywhere from this 409 to 413 area actually is probably good to look at for a possible new buy trigger on a 15 or 30-minute chart. As far as gold, we've got the August contract. We have a lot of overhead resistance, but we didn't quite get there. As far as the pullback, it's a little bit past that 618, but you know, we definitely have mixed parameters. I mean, as far as the gold is concerned, 513 is in a sell mode, so I still have to favor the sell side personally. And again, we didn't quite get up into the area of resistance, though I wanted you to look at for possible short. There might have been something on a lower time frame chart, but again, we just don't have time to do all the intraday charts all of the time. But if you have any questions about those, you can feel free to ask in the trading room. If you have a question for me or somebody else, please post in the trading room area because we all see it. I did notice that unless you put our name in the regular, you know, our area, it doesn't notify anybody. So a lot of times we miss questions that you guys have. We're not ignoring you. We're just missing it because we're not getting the dang notifications. Okay, so either put somebody's name in front of it or please post in the trading room area, and also come in there even if you don't want to be on a Zoom screen. At least we're putting out multiple charts and updates, and people are talking to each other about, you know, what's going on in the market. So that would be a good reason to check out at least the area on the site. And for those of you who might be new, let me just show you this really quick. You go to all posts, go to Fibonacci markets and stocks, and then you go to screencast and chat, and then you'll see this is the one for today, June 1st. You go and click on the replies, and this is everything we've been talking about and updating. You know, I mean, there are a number of things that were updated all day long. So if you have not been in there and you have time, please join us. All right, let's go back to the rest of the charts here. Silver, as far as silver is concerned, so we're holding above some support, but this also counter trend. 513 is in a sell mode. They're also below the 50 at this point. So we have a tug of war between the counter trend support and trend resistance. And the trend resistance I have at 77.70 to 78.40. Well, if you include the 382, it'll be 78.90 to 2, but I'm labeling just the symmetry. to 78.44. So be aware of that. Now, if we end up holding above here instead and pushing through this resistance, then that would be the first indication that we could have a more important low and that we may start to see silver shift gears back to the upside. But we're not there yet. So be patient. No need to force any trades. We have plenty of other trades when some of the markets are just not setting up, but these are good. And then you have, let's see, I did find one more projection. I don't 100% know if it's valid because it was from this high to this low, but it gave us one more projection here. It's a little bit hard to see how, yeah, if this makes sense or not. But we are at least bouncing from a 382 area. This one, the 513 is still in a sell mode though. So your next decision, and the question is to fail or not to fail, it's really going to be this 95.78, 95.78 to 98.01. So you have 50%, a 100%, and a 618 retracement there. But let's say we hold here and push through this, then the potential is up here. But right now, the 513 is not on the side of the bulls. Then we have, oh, I did take a peek and I did post this. You also have a little tug of war going on here on a 30-minute chart. This is a pattern of higher highs and higher lows, and you have the 834 in a buy mode. So if you're trading this time frame chart, you're allowed to look at this, right? Okay. For me, still though, if I don't have the 513 on the daily chart in agreement, I'll typically leave that alone. But here's, you know, decisions on both sides for you. But if we hold here, this is potential on the upside. And then TLT, I did give you an updated chart on this, and I found some symmetry, but it's more from some of these prior swings here. Okay, so swings on a chart tend to be similar to other swings on the same chart. And these, even though they're over here, you'll still see similar swings, and that's why I, you know, started running some of those projections. And we're holding support here. Now we have mixed parameters as far as the averages, because the 513 is bullish. So this one's okay on the buy side as far as I'm concerned. And the potential target one is going to be 86.28 if you continue to hold about there. That's pretty much it. Yeah, and I hope this video works. I'm going to check it before I send it today. All right, have a good one.